What's going on, everyone? It's Ben from YGO from Zero, back with another Retro Yu-Gi-Oh video, and this is going to be a pretty fun one as I'm going to be covering a deck that was a little bit too jank to make my regular coverage of Yata Format, and that is Fushio Richie. Now, I featured a zombie deck in my coverage of Yata Format, and it was basically just using, Pyramid Turtle to bring out, Patrician of Darkness and Spirit Reaper, using Book of Lives as well to revive them, and, it was decent. I thought it was pretty good. But zombies actually have a much more jank win condition in the form of Fushio Richie. Now, Fushio Richie is a boss monster that's 2600 attack, 2900 defense, so really good stats here. And it can't be normal summon or set. It can only be special summoned from your hand or deck by attributing one Great Desire that has fulfilled the condition. We'll get to what that condition is in a second. But let's just talk about what this guy's effect is actually on field. You can flip this card into face down defense position 1 per turn during your main phase. And as long as this monster remains face up on the field, negate the activation and effects of all spell and trap cards that target this card and destroy them. So it can't be destroyed by things like Ring of Destruction, Raigeki Break, things like that. When this card is flipped face up, you can special summon one zombie type monster from your graveyard. So also it keeps bringing back monsters from your graveyard. It can bring back things like Spirit Reaper. It can bring back things like Pyramid Turtle. It can also bring back things like Patrician of Darkness to sort of direct attacks in a way that protects it. So this card is really, really good here. But, I said I'd come back to that condition there, the tributing the Great Desard. Bringing it out is really, really difficult. Now, the Great Desard is a level 6 spellcaster type monster, so it can't be brought out of something like Pyramid Turtle. I mean, its defense is too high either way for that, but it can't be brought out of something like Book of Life either. And it's got 99 attack and says when this monster destroys the following number of monsters as a result of battle, the following effects are activated in order. 1. As long as this card remains face up on the field, negate the activation effects of all spell and trap cards that target this card and destroy them. And then 2. You can special summon one Fushio Richie from your hand or deck by attributing this card during your main phase. So you do have to destroy 2 of your opponent's monsters by battle in order to actually, bring out Fushio Richie. And once your opponent sees that you've got a Great Desard on field with like one monster already done, they might just do something like Raigeki it or Dark Hole it or something like that. So it's very difficult to actually fulfill this condition. Your opponent doesn't have to commit any monsters to board if they don't want you attacking into it. And its weak attack stat is kind of unfortunate. Injection Fairy Lily can get over it. Gemini Elf can crash with it. So there are many ways around this monster, and it makes the deck very, very hard to actually pull off its condition. But we're going to try our best here, and in order to actually give us the highest chances of seeing a Fushio Richie hitting the field, we're actually going to be playing a mirror match with this deck against Janjo from the Janjo Zone. Link to their channel will be in the description down below, but they've got a lot of other great retro Yu-Gi-Oh content as well. It's always a pleasure to have them on. So, for a quick card by card of this deck, we've got triple Great Desard and one Fushio Richie. You want to maximize your chances of seeing this combo go off, at least in this version of the deck. So that's why we're maxing out on the combo, and we don't need more than one Fushio Richie, as you're realistically only going to be able to bring out one in the first place, and it's a brick otherwise. We've also got Exiled Force here. Triple Giant Rat. Giant Rat can bring out Exiled Force, which is pretty nice. It can also bring out Injection Fairy Lily, which is also a big beater. It can also bring out Triple Pyramid Turtle. Pyramid Turtle can go into either Spirit Reaper or Patrician of Darkness if it's not going into another Pyramid Turtle, which is pretty good. We've got a Sangan here and a Witch as well to search out a lot of what's in our deck. The Great Desire is unfortunately unsearchable because its attack and defense are too high, so you just have to hard draw this. But if we're deck thinning through other means, then we can potentially draw it. We also got a Sinister Serpent because we are playing triple Raigeki Break here. We do just want to sort of clear the way for our Great Desard, and that means we want to have a flexible option to either destroy back row that we're worried about or destroy monsters that can get over Desard. So that's why we're playing the triple Raigeki Break. And for the spells, we got double Book of Life here. I was debating about going 3, and we do have a third one in the side deck here. But, deck space was getting kind of tight, so I was like, 2 is probably good enough. But this can be used to bring back a monster, tribute off 4 Great Desard, and then get it attacking in. We've also got Change of Heart, Confiscation, Dark Hold, Liquid Duo, Graceful Charity, Mirage Nightmare along with triple MST to pair with it. We get Monster Reborn, Painful Choice, Pot of Greed, Raigeki, Snatch Steal, and Forceful Sentry. So the other spells are pretty much standard. We're not playing a Heartbeats, Feather Duster, or Heavy Storm in the main deck. Again, I just didn't really have as much space, and I figured with the triple Raigeki Break, that could sort of fulfill that function as well. For the traps, we got Imperial Order, Mirror Force, triple Raigeki Break, and a Ring of Destruction. No Call of the Haunted in the main, although we do have it in the side. And the reason we don't have it in the main is because we've got these Book of Lives here to hopefully serve the purpose as well. So for the side deck, it's sort of a hodgepodge here. I've got triple Torrential Tribute in case you're up against a more aggressive deck. I've got Harvey's Feather Duster and Heavy Storm in case you're up against a more back row heavy deck, or if you're going like second, this can be good to bring in. Speaking of going second, we've got Noman of Crossout as well, which can be good to bring in going second. We've got Ceasefire as well, and these three work for more like flip focus strategies to bring in against that. We got Gemini Alpha and Kaiku in case we want to get a little bit more aggressive, and Gemini Alpha actually has a very funny utility in this matchup specifically because 1900 crashing into a Great Dizard is pretty good. We got Yata Garasu in case we think we can pull off the Yata lock. We got another Spirit Reaper in case we need to get a little bit more defensive. And lastly, we've got a Magician of Faith against slower decks. This can be very, very good. And then the Fusion deck is just, it's basically here for show. I mean, Metamorphosis does exist, but there's nothing like Magical Scientist in this format. So we likely won't be going into this. But that is going to be the deck here. So I think this deck is really neat. I mean, it's really bad against a normal deck in this format. But I do think that for the mirror, we might be able to see Fuchsia Richie come out here. And so let's dive into the games and see if we're actually able to bring this card out. Okay, we got our first game here against Heavy Metal Raider, who is Janjo from the Janjo Zone. Always a pleasure to have them on. And we're going to dive into the game right away. If you enjoy this sort of retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Gameplay and that sort of content, then definitely subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 1100, so it'd be really good to reach that by the end of the year. Maybe a bit of a hard ask, but, got to shoot for the stars. So we're going to open up with a Pot of Greed here and a hand of all spell traps, and we draw Patrician, so that doesn't really help us out here. We can't really do much, although we do have Snatch Steal to pair with Patrician, so we can take control of our opponent's monster, tribute out the Patrician, and have a sort of pseudo removal, so that's kind of nice. We're just going to set an MST and a ring here. This plays around if they've got like, Harvey's Feather Duster or Heavy Storm, which we know that they don't because we know their deck list, but if we were playing blind here, then we wouldn't necessarily know that. So they're going to go for Graceful Charity, pitch a copy of the Great Dizard in a Book of Life here. So seems like they may be bricking a little bit as well. They're going to go for a Forceful Sentry, see our hand here, see the powerful Snatch Steal Patrician play. And they are indeed going to send back the Snatch Steal for that reason. That tells us that they likely don't have an MST here, or else they would have gone for that. Although, they're going for the Comfy now. They're going to send the Raigeki there, so maybe it's just because they had another hand rip as well. They're going to set one, pass back to us. We're just going to blind MST it, just in case it's like an MST. And it looks like they did indeed have the MST, so I'm glad that we fired that. And in Yata, you can't actually chain MST the turn it's set, so yeah. We draw a Great Dizard, so this hand is looking even better. We're going to set this Raigeki break, pass back to them. And they're going to fire a Delinquent Duo. Wow, so they're drawing all the hand rips. They're going to pick the Patrician. We're just going to pitch this Dizard as it's not really useful for us right now. They're going to pass back to us. We draw another Great Dizard, so I'm glad we pitched the first one. We're going to pass back to them. And they are going to summon out Sangan, the first monster to hit the field in the entire game. And yep, that's pretty much how this mirror is expected to go. We draw Giant Rat, though, so that's going to be very good at clearing that Sangan. They will get a search here, unfortunately, but we do have a Raigeki break and ring in case they want to search out like a Giant Rat or a Pyramid Turtle. Looks like they are going to search out the Giant Rat here. And they're going to pass back to us, or we're going to pass back to them. They're going to set one, pass back to us. We draw a Mirror Force here, which is even better. We're going to tribute out the Great Dizard. It's finally hitting the field. And we're going to attack into their set. This will be the first monster that Great Dizard destroyed. So now it will be unable to be targeted by spell and trap effects. Unfortunately, it can be targeted by monster effects. So Exiled Force is a major threat here. Main two, we're just going to Ring of Destruction that. We don't want to pitch any of the cards in our hand right now for the Raigeki break. We're just going to set this Mystical Space Typhoon, pass back to them. I think maybe I should have set the Mirror Force instead, as, something like Snatch Steal or Change of Heart can't be used on Dizard. So that makes it a little bit, I'm not really that concerned about the back row. A little bit, but I don't know, maybe this was right. They're not setting anything into that, so it won't matter here. But we're just going to attack in to their set. It's the Spirit Reaper, so we won't be able to do anything about that. We're just going to pass back to them. And they're going to tribute that off for a Great Dizard of their own. Whoa! Okay, they're going to attack into our Dizard. We're going to pitch a Dark Hole off this Raigeki here, as we have an established monster on board that we don't want to lose. And Mirror Force is probably the better option for us here anyways. So they're going to pass back to us. We draw a Pyramid Turtle. We're just going to get aggressive here, attacking in for 3,100. And this will be a pretty threatening board for them because they are pretty low on life points. We're going to set this Mirror Force as well, pass back to them. They are going to fire Dark Hole here. That will clear up the board pretty well. And then they're going to fire a Reborn. And they're going to choose to bring out... I'm going to think about this a bit. They're going to bring out Sangan. Oh, I wanted them to bring out Dizard. Well, I mean, this is the best choice for them. If they brought out Dizard, we just Mirror Force it likely. So Sangan is correct here. We draw a Sangan of our own. We're just going to set that. We could have summoned it and crashed it, or just summoned it to play around knock. But I feel fine setting it and sort of baiting them into the Mirror Force here. If they don't, and they just keep the Sangan in attack and attack into our set, then we can search out Lily and win that way. They're going to go for MST here, popping our MST, and tribute out a Great Dizard! Whoa! It's hidden the field. They're going to attack in to our Sangan here. That will get destroyed, put a counter on their Dizard. We're going to search out Injection Fairy Lily, and this will be exact lethal if they don't have a way to stop it. They're going to set one back row, so unfortunately them MSTing our MST is kind of coming back to bite us here. We're going to bring out the Lily here, attack in to their Dizard. If they've got like Mirror Force or Ring or something, we can then Book of Life a monster out in main phase 2 just to get a monster on field, like Patrician. So I feel fine about this. And it looks like that will just be the end of the game. Their back row is just an MST. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. That will be the end of that game. And we managed to win. I mean, we didn't manage to bring up Fushio Richie, but Dizard was sitting on field for a little bit, dealing some damage. And that will be the end of the game. So for siding, we can indeed side in some cards here, but as a rule, we can't side out any of the Dizard and Fushio Richie package, which is just how I'd like it to be because, you know, we want to get Fushio Richie on field. That is the goal of these matches, and the most likely way to get that to happen is by keeping in the Dizard stuff. So our opponent's going to fire Pot of Greed to start draw 2, fire a Graceful Charity, draw 3, pitch 2. They're going to pitch a Rat and a Reaper there. They're going to set 2, set 3, pass back to us. We draw, and we've got a pretty good hand as well. We're going to go for this Graceful. They've got IO, but we do have the MST to stop the IO there. So we're going to draw 3. Oof, double Dizard. We're going to pitch 1 Dizard and 1 Turtle here. I feel like this is a little bit better. Because we want to set Reaper here because what we don't want to happen is they tribute over for a Dizard, attack into a Pyramid Turtle. We do get a search, but the Dizard is untargetable, and if they have a way to clear like Patrician or something, then we're in a really bad spot at that point. We also want the Snatch Steal online to take whatever monster they have and then tribute off for a Dizard. So, yeah, I feel like it's better to keep the Reaper. And we do want the MST and the Ring in hand there, because Ring is really good at just dealing with whatever threats they might have. They're going to bring out a Witch. They're going to flip up this Pyramid Turtle. Attack into our set. It's a Reaper. They're going to think about this, and they're just going to pass back to us. We got a Forceful Sentry here, so we're going to fire Snatch Steal on their Turtle. And they've got Raigeki Break for the Snatch Steal. So that will clear the Snatch Steal. We're just going to tribute out a Great Dizard, attack into the Witch. As we attack into the Pyramid Turtle, then they can, like, get out of Patrician. Then we'd have to, like, ring that. Also doing it this way makes it so that next turn they might want to crash their Pyramid Turtle into our Dizard, bring out a Patrician, and that would be pretty good, as Dizard would then get 2/2 counters. We can also Forceful whatever they search off the Witch, so I feel fine about that as well. They're going to search out Exiled Force here, and then in main 2, we're going to fire the Forceful, see what they got. They bricked on Fushio Richie there, and they've got Exiled Force, Dark Hole, and Harpy's Feather Duster. It's kind of a tricky choice here. We could, you know, send back the Exiled Force, force them to use Dark Hole to clear the board here. We could also send back Harpies to preserve our cards on field. But if they Harpies, I'm honestly not too upset about that, because we can just ring their Turtle, and then we lose the MST, but we still get some value off that. What I actually want to think, I think I want to send back the Dark Hole here. And it's a little bit weird to do this, but the reason I want to do this is I don't want the Exiled Force in deck to search out off something like Giant Rat later. I want them to use up the Exiled Force now, and then we can ring the Pyramid Turtle and get rid of that. But either way, they're going to be clearing our board one way or another. And I feel like this is the way that sort of is worse for them, since they have to pop their own Turtle if they want to go for that. And also, or no, not popping their own Turtle. It's worse for them because the Exiled Force is out of deck, and then we've got the ring for the Turtle to pop that. But yeah, I feel like sending back the unsearchable card in the hand is the best option here. We're going to pass back to them. They are going to summon out the Exiled Force, pop the Dizard. Unfortunately, that will go through. They're going to attack in for 1200, and we're just going to hold the ring. We could have fired it here, but I feel like we've got enough outs to Turtle that we don't really need to worry about that. They're going to go for Mirage here. We're just going to fire the MSC, get rid of that, pass back to them. We draw Raigeki Break, which is pretty decent, but we don't want to commit to board yet because we've got no cards in hand. And they are going to just attack him with Turtle again. You know, I am going to fire the ring now, as I'm just depriving them of any back row for them to potentially Harpies here. And also, we don't have an out to Pyramid Turtle easily. We could set the Raigeki Break and then just pitch whatever we draw this turn. But, you know, then we lose value for the Harpies that they've got set. So, yeah, I'm just going to do that. And we draw turtle. So I'm happy with that. We're going to attack in with the turtle here, get in for 12, and then we're just going to pass back to them. No need to set the Raigeki break, as that is dead at this point. They're going to set one, pass back to us, and we draw a Great Dizard. So we've got a couple different options here. We can summon out Dizard and then set the Raigeki break. Raigeki break would then be dead at that point, and if we attack Dizard into their set and something like a Pyramid Turtle, we don't have a way to out that. So I think that move is kind of too aggressive and a little bit awkward. So what I'm going to do here is just switch the turtle to defense, pass back to them. Next turn, we'll be drawing a card here. Raigeki break will then be online. So we can go for Dizard, attack over their monster, and have the Raigeki break as protection. So I feel okay about this. It's a little bit passive, but I do think it's the right thing to do. Our opponent's going to draw and pass back to us. We draw Lily, which is pretty decent. We're going to tribute out this Dizard here, attack into their set. It is a giant rat, so they're going to be able to search out a monster here, and they're going to go for a turtle, and that is perfectly fine by us. We've got this Raigeki break here. If they fire Harpies, we can chain Raigeki break, pop the turtle. They are indeed going to do that. We're going to get rid of the turtle, and our Dizard is still online here. They're going to summon out a rat, and unfortunately this does out the Dizard because they can bring out like a turtle, they can bring out a Lily, whichever direction they want to go for. If they don't have Patrician left in deck, then, you know, they want to bring out Lily here. But either way, it's going to clear the Dizard. They're going to go for the Pyramid Turtle here. I think that is the smarter play to do. As with Lily, it's a little bit more fragile, as they've only got 2 activations with Lily, one of which they'd have to use on Dizard. And we've got, you know, if we draw like a rat or a turtle, we could just crash into the Lily and be fine there. So they are going to hit over the Dizard with the Patrician, which is quite unfortunate. We do draw Exiled, so we're just going to be able to pop the Patrician there, pass back to them, but we are in a very risky spot. And it looks like they're just going to pass back to us. They say, you know, my hand right now, oh my G. And that might mean that they've just got Fushio and double Dizard, which is very, very funny, but it can happen. We're going to set this IO. They've got MST there to pop the IO. They're going to set another pass back to us. We draw Painful, which is a really good draw here. We're just going to go for Painful, send 5 monsters. This might be a little bit risky as we're losing a lot of monsters in deck. But we've got a bunch of zombies in grave now for like Book of Life. And if they don't have a backer that does anything here, then we get a monster on field just to hit in and just be a beater. So I feel good about this overall. They're going to give us the rat there. We're going to summon out that rat, attack in for 14, and that will indeed go through. We're going to pass back to them. They're going to go for Dark Hole, clear the rat, and we got Reborn here. So we'll be able to Reborn, target Lily here, and this will indeed be the end of the game if it goes through. And it will indeed go through. Yep, Dizard, Fushio, and the last back row was an MST, so that's not going to do it there. So very, very fun mirror match there. Very, very bricky as well. Of course, we didn't bring out Fushio Richie this game, so we had to play another match. So let's dive into that one now. And, you know, while we're diving into this, if you want to support me directly, I also do have a Patreon, link in the description of the video down below. And I'm sort of still deciding on perks for it, so I've got a poll on the Patreon if you want to vote in that and decide what perks we should do for that. That's going to be up until the end of the year, which is coming up. So head on over there. Also, you get shouted out in my videos if you are a patron. And so currently I've got 2 patrons, Rinswin and Brent Doctor. Thank you so much for the support. And now that that's out of the way, let's dive into the second game here. Our opponent will be going first this time. And that's a shame because we had the Forceful for the first turn play. But I do feel like this is a pretty good opener for going second as well. We're just going to bring out Turtle attack into their set. We know it's not like Zalug or something because we know that this is the mirror match. So we're just going to attack in the Sang in there. They're going to search out Witch. We're going to go for a Forceful Sentry. Just see what they're working with there. It looks like they've got Turtle, Sinister Serpent, Witch, Spirit Reaper, and Book of Life. And this is kind of awkward for us. They've got a lot of good cards that, you know, can be annoying for us to deal with. But I think the thing that would be most annoying for us is if they Book of Life out a monster from their graveyard and banish Sinister Serpent. Because we do want to start, like, you know, sending Serpent to grave. We get Raigeki Break to pitch Serpent off of. And that would be really bad for us if they banished that. So I think I actually want to send back the Book of Life. We can't deprive them of a zombie here because they've got 2 in hand. I guess Spirit Reaper would stick around on field, but we'd have to clear that eventually in order to get in. So yeah, I don't want to give them access to Book of Life when we're so dependent on Serpent here. So we're going to send back that Serpent. And then, you know, we're going to set this Raigeki Break, set this Snatch Shield, pass back to them. We know they're not on Harpy, Feather Duster, or Heavy Storm after playing the first match. They're going to go for Pot of Greed there, draw 2, and they're going to summon out a Pyramid Turtle attack into our Pyramid Turtle. Now, we could potentially Raigeki break this, but I don't really feel the need to. We're going to bring out a Pyramid Turtle in attack, hoping that they sort of deck thin further. It looks like they are indeed going to deck thin further, so they're going to attack into our turtle here. And now we're actually going to make things a little bit awkward for them. We're going to leave one turtle left in deck for them, unless they want to just bring out a turtle in defense of their own and not go for the crash. If they do want to sort of keep getting aggressive here, they have to bring out Patrician, attack over our turtle, and then we get a Patrician of our own out. So they're left with like one awkward turtle left in deck. So I do like this play. I think it's kind of, neat. And they do indeed decide to go aggressive, hitting over that turtle. That will be fine by us. We get a Patrician here. And, they're just going to set one pass back to us. We draw a Graceful Charity here, which is pretty good. We're going to go for that. And drawing the Graceful Charity, we could have potentially gone for the Raigeki break in standby phase to then get the Serpent back. And also get the pop, but I feel like we've got other outs to like Patrician and things like that. So I don't really feel the need to go for this yet. We draw Great Dizard, which is kind of awkward. We're going to pitch the Serpent and a Dizard here. We're going to go for Snatch Shield, and we're going to try and get damage in first. They don't have a monster to destroy by battle here, so I feel just fine going for damage and then Tribute setting out the Dizard next turn, or not next turn, but in the main phase 2. Unfortunate for us, they saved this Raigeki break for the Snatch Steal there. So that's kind of unfortunate. They get to pop the Snatch Steal, and now Patrician's on their side of the field again. We could have potentially Raigeki breaked the Patrician and then gone in for more damage, but we don't want to pitch the Dizard, and we definitely don't want to pitch the Fushio, as, once that's in grave, it can't come back. So we're going to just set this Mirror Force, hope that that's enough. And next turn, we will get the Serpent back, and so we will be able to do something with that. They're going to attack him with Patrician. We're just going to Mirror Force this. We've got Raigeki break for whatever they might search out. They're going to search out an Exiled Force, which will deal with our Patrician rather cleanly here. We draw a Giant Wrap, and we're going to think about this. We're going to go into standby, add back Serpent. We have to think about whether we want to Raigeki break their set in the standby phase as well, and then get back the Serpent. But we're going to choose not to. We're just going to choose to attack him with Patrician here, not play into Mirror Force, get in for 2k. Then we're just going to set the Serpent. I think maybe I could have set a Wrap. We're trying to play around board clears, and I feel like it's pretty good. Also, if they bring out a monster, we can sort of redirect the attack into Serpent, which is kind of nice. So we're just going to do this. Maybe it's a little bit of a mistake, but I also want to start tributing out the Dizard next turn. And if we do that over the Serpent, then, we get the Serpent back. So it's free tribute fodder. They're just going to set 2, pass back to us, and we draw as Sangan. Now, we could just tribute out Dizard here and attack into their set, but that plays really badly into Mirror Force, which is a bit risky. And so I kind of want to be a little bit more defensive here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to attack another set with the Patrician here. It's a Spirit Reaper, so good thing we didn't go for Dizard there. And we're just going to set a Sangan here. Next turn, we contribute over the Sangan or the Serpent and get in for damage that way. We do want to get the Serpent back in rotation, though, to fuel our Raigeki break, though, because that's one of the few ways we have to deal with Spirit Reaper. So, yeah, that'd be good. They're going to go for Book of Life here, and I'm very happy that Serpent is not in the grave right now, as that would be annoying to banish. But they're going to bring back Patrician of Darkness and banish a Great Dizard there because, we've got multiple Pyramid Turtles, so banishing those don't really matter that much. They're going to go for Patrician, and they're going to attack into the set. I mean, we can direct their attack whichever we want to direct them to, but I do think we want the Serpent in grave there. So we will let that happen. And they're going to set one, and they're just going to pass back to us. Now, maybe this was a little bit of a risk, because if they had another Book of Life, and we're trying to sort of attack into a Serpent, then that could be pretty bad for us, but luckily it didn't work out that way. And in standby phase, we will add back that Serpent. Now, we could potentially Raigeki break the Patrician here, because Patrician makes it annoying, because every time we attack in now, we have to attack into the Spirit Reaper. So we could potentially just Raigeki break the Patrician here by pitching the Serpent and going for that. But I think I'm going to play it a little bit more defensively. We're just going to fire this Delinquent Duo here. This is partially just to sniff out if the set that they've got is Serpent, because we do know about the Serpent, and now is about as good a time as any to fire this. And it looks like they do not have the Serpent in hand because they pitched a Comfy and a Rat. We're going to set our Rat, pass back to them, and then they're going to fire Change of Heart on the Patrician. That is fine, because we've got Raigeki break in case they've got like a board clear here. We can pop the Reaper, prevent a discard, and we've got multiple things to do here. We've got like Rat to bring out a Turtle, or actually I think Turtles are on grave, but we can bring out like Injection Fairy Lily or something like that and do pretty well with that. They're going to attack into our Sangan here. We're going to search out Exiled Force with that. And they're going to attack in with Patrician here, and we're going to search out, we're going to think here, we could search out like another rat, but we're just going to search out a Lily, as this is really good. We can also now Raigeki break the Patrician of Darkness and get into the Reaper that way, which would be really unfortunate for them. We've got Exiled Force, or they've got Exiled Force here. They're going to pop our Lily, and they're going to pass back the Patrician to us, and yeah, it's a little bit awkward with the Lily there. Luckily, Exiled Force will be able to pop the Patrician, so we'll just do that, and then attack into the Reaper with the Patrician here, dealing 1700 and setting this MST, passing back to them. Man, this Raigeki break is like the longest held Raigeki break in the game's history. They're going to go for Snatch Steal. We're going to fire MST here. They're going to switch the Reaper to defense and pass back to us in standby phase. I think we probably should Raigeki break now and then just attack into their set. But I want to use the Serpent as tribute fodder for the Dizard. So, yeah, we're just going to attack into their set, which we know is the Serpent. Just get it off field, set the Serpent, pass back to them. Keep the Raigeki break in hand in case we do need to just shotgun this Raigeki break here. We don't want to pitch Dizard or Richie, so we just have this as a discard option, but hopefully we won't need to actually use that. Our opponent is going to set one, pass back to us. We draw a Giant Rat here, and we're going to tribute out the Great Dizard. We're going to attack into the set, hoping it's something we can attack over. It is indeed something we can attack over, so it's a Pyramid Turtle. That last remaining Pyramid Turtle that I mentioned earlier in the game left in deck. It looks like they've got no targets, so I'm very glad that we put that in there. And we're just going to pass back to them. This Dizard is untargetable by spell and trap effects, so that's pretty good. If they've got Raigeki, that would be pretty bad for us, but it is what it is. They've got Dark Hole, though, and that's a similar sort of bad situation to be in. And they're going to bring out this Sinister Serpent, get in for 300 there. They're going to pass back to us. We draw a Ring of Destruction, which is pretty nice. We're going to add back the Sinister Serpent to hand. We're going to bring out this Giant Rat, attack into their Sinister Serpent, dealing 1100, and then setting a Ring, and we're going to pass back to them. I think this was actually a little bit of a misplay. I think I also should have set the other Raigeki break here. But they're down to 2 cards, and, well, I mean, they're getting back Serpent. But if they, like, do a T-set and pass back to us, I'm pretty sure we can almost guarantee lethal if we just double Raigeki break in standby phase, get back double Sinister Serpent. That will be 1700 damage on board plus Ring to deal 14 in a worst case scenario. But if they bring out any other bigger monster, then that's going to be the end of the game. So I feel like we should have just set the Raigeki break here, but, you know, we didn't do it. And I think it's ultimately fine. It looks like they've just got one monster there anyways. So it's not really going to be that big of a deal. We're just going to attack into it with the Rat there. It's a Serpent. And we're just going to set this Raigeki break, pass back to them. I think, so I could have just summoned out Serpent there, attacked in their set Serpent. Just having the read about that, and then attacking for 14. But then we don't have the best Raigeki break options there. So I think this is fine. And then I'm set up next turn to go for the lethal line. Or not lethal, but like almost lethal line. They're going to set 2 back row here. We're just going to fire Raigeki break on one of the back row here. Because we get back the Serpent and standby anyways. So we're going to get back that Serpent. And this should be the end of the game. We're going to go... we misclicked on the Ring. If they did force us to, you know, keep it, we'd still be fine. They'd be down to 1800. And we've got Raigeki break on the other back row. Plus Dark Hole, plus Book of Life to bring back Patrician here. But we're just going to, you know, they're going to let us go for that. And we do clear a Mirror Force, which is pretty good, which I'm very glad that we had the double Raigeki break set there. We're going to go for Book of Life, bring back this Patrician, banish the Serpent, and bring out our Serpent of our own, just, you know, to get in for 23. And then we've got the Ring here to finish off the game. Yeah, it looks like they just had a Dizard in hand. So that's going to be a very, very good game 1. A long grind here, but, you know, I love games like that. And unfortunately, again, we didn't bring out Fushio Richie. But, you know, hopefully this next game or the game following, we'll be able to do that. But for the siding, I didn't talk about this really in game 1, but for the siding, we take out the Handers because we know we're going second. And we also take out a Serpent, and we bring in Double Knock, and we bring in a Gemini Elf. I think I might keep in a Forceful, but I take out the Duo and Comfy because Duo and Comfy are kind of weird in this deck. And also I'd feel really bad if I like Duo out a Richie. Like that'd be really annoying. So yeah. So I bring in those, and I take out the Serpent. I take out Duo and Comfy. And I feel like those are pretty good options to bring in here. But they didn't come up in last game's game 2. So our opponent's going to open with a pot, and they're going to go for Forceful here. They're going to send back the Critter. I mean, I don't know. Dizard is really scary. It's got that like freaky mask on its head, so maybe that should have been the pick. But it looks like they're just going to send back to Sangan, and they're going to set 2, pass back to us. We draw a Graceful Charity. We're going to fire that Graceful Charity, draw 3. That's a pretty stacked hand. We're going to pitch a Patrician and an MST here. We've got another MST plus Raigeki Break, and Patrician now is engraved for like Book of Life and things like that. And if we do want to tribute out a monster, we want to tribute out the Great Dizard. We're going to set a Giant Rat and a Raigeki Break here and pass back to them. They're going to set 1, and they're going to pass back to us. We feel pretty good about this. We draw Mirror Force here. We're going to tribute out the Great Dizard, and we're going to attack into one of their sets there. It's a Giant Rat, so that we'll be able to get them out a monster from deck here. They're going to get out a Pyramid Turtle. Now, we could potentially Raigeki this, but I feel like we're pretty good. We got Mirror Force. We got Raigeki Break. If they, like, just try and crash the Pyramid Turtle into our Dizard and get out Patrician, that will be the second monster destroyed by battle by this card's effect. And we also do have a way to clear the Patrician in our back row. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to hope that they do just go for that play, and it looks like they are going to do that, so I feel really good about this. Dizard now has destroyed 2 monsters by battle. They're going to bring out a Patrician, attack in to the Dizard. We're just going to go for Mirror Force here. We kind of like both our cards in hand, so we don't necessarily want to get rid of them. They're going to tribute set, pass back to us. We draw Monster Reborn, and now, finally, the moment you've been waiting for. We are going to tribute off the Great Dizard using its effect to summon out a Fushio Richie from deck. Look at this thing. 2600 attack, 2900 defense. That is just so cool. I think, honestly, we probably should have gone for, like, Mystical Space Typhoon on the back row just in case they brought in, like, TTs before we did this. But, you know, I'm feeling a little bit risky. Now I'm going to go for the MST. I think I shouldn't have held this, but yeah, I just go for it now. It's a set Book of Life, so that's fine. That's just a bluff. We're going to attack over their set, which we know is the Dizard, because there's nothing else you really tribute set in this deck. And now we're just going to use its effect to set it back down. Let's hope our opponent does not have a knock and pass back to them. They are going to set 1, set another, pass back to us. And we draw a Raigeki Break, which is pretty decent. We're going to flip up this Fushio Richie. We're going to bring back Patrician of Darkness here. And then to play around Mirror Force, we're just going to set that down. Attack into their set with Patrician. It is a Spirit Reaper, so that's kind of unfortunate. We're going to pass back to them. They are going to summon a Lily here. They're going to try and attack into Future Richie, but Patrician of Darkness says, nah, and it redirects the attack to itself. We could have also just used Mirror Force, or Raigeki Break here, not Mirror Force. But we get back the Patrician anyways off the Fushio, so I feel fine just losing the Patrician here. And so our opponent is just going to attack into the Patrician there. And they're going to pass back to us. We draw a Giant Rat here. We're going to flip up that Fushio, bring out the Patrician here. And I actually think I messed up. I could have just gone for game with Fushio here. If I had fired Raigeki Break on the back row, like in standby phase, and then I just Raigeki the board away, summon out Rat, this would just be the end of the game. I think I honestly just could have fired Raigeki Break here now. And unfortunately, I don't see that line. I set down the Richie, and I realized that I lose the opportunity to go for the Richie for game. So that's kind of unfortunate. I'm sorry to let people down. But luckily I did manage to stick the Richie on field, and so we're not going to go for lethal here. We could have easily gone for lethal by, you know, Raigeki breaking the back row and then reborning out one more card and just going for game that way. But, you know, I want to, you know, maximize my chances of getting this Richie to attack in for game here. So, yeah, they're going to add back a Sinister Serpent here, and they're going to set one, pass back to us. We're just going to Raigeki break their back row, and then we're going to draw a Witch of the Black Forest here. We are going to flip up this Fushio Richie. We don't have any zombies left in grave to bring back, so it's kind of unfortunate. We're going to attack into their set. It is a Giant Rat, so they're going to bring out another Giant Rat. And unfortunately, you know, we can't quite get game with the Richie, although we could have potentially attacked in for 12 with Richie here. But we're just going to go for this. Attack him with Giant Rat, and they're going to bring out a Pyramid Turtle. So we have to bring out Lily to actually end the game, because otherwise, you know, we can attack in for 14 to the Rat, or to the Turtle, but then they can just bring out in defense, and that would be not the best. So yeah, this is the only way we can actually get game this turn. And yeah, so we're just going to do that. Attack in for lethal damage, and that will indeed be the end of the game. Let's see what our opponent had. They had the Richie in hand as well, but we had it on field, which is infinitely better. But, oh, such a fun match. Such a fun set of games. Thank you so much to Janjo for coming on the channel and doing this. This was a really fun game, and it was actually their idea for video. So thank you for that suggestion, as this turned out better than I could have ever expected. This might have been the first time in the game's history where Fuchio Richie actually gets summoned on camera, and I'm very glad we were able to pull it off. Let me know what you thought of these games down in the comments below. I know they aren't like super competitive, but they were very fun, and that is something that is also an element of playing these old formats as well, that sometimes you just want to have fun with them and play decks that you know aren't the best, but you know are on relatively even footing. And I do think it was really cool to get off this win con. So let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it as always. And until next time, I've been Ben from YGO from Zero, and I'm signing off.